Hello, this is Clark with Learn to Blog. The third video in the guidance series is where you are going to be talking about the Genesis plugins that are installed in the Ultimate Blog Design. And then we will go in and talk about what other Genesis plugins you could also install if you wanted to. Alright, so let's get started. The first plugin we're going to talk about is Simple Share. So Simple Share, what it does is when you post to your website, you will have these buttons at the bottom of your post. And what do these buttons do? Well, if you have a visitor coming to your website and they want to share your post on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, or StumbleUpon, they can. All they have to do is click on one of these buttons. Now, what this area is how do the top area of this plugin, these settings for this plugin, is how do we want this these buttons to look? So icon size. So as I adjust these, you'll notice the live preview changes. So I can go to box. That's really helpful because you don't have to go back and forth to the front of the site to see what it looks like. Honestly, small bar, perfect. That's all that's really needed. I think the colors here really kind of pop. So icon appearance, we have the option for these areas to be filled or just outlined. So that is the two options there. Those are the options. So the next one is icon display position. So what this means is where do we want these buttons to show up? Right now I have it set to after the content. So if I go to demo here and I click on, say, Gravity Forms, this post, what we're going to see is these buttons after the post. There they are. Now if I wanted them before the post, like up here at the top, what I would do is I would change this to before the content, and then I would go down to the bottom and save. Once that saves, go to the front of the site and reload it. So now it is before. It is before the content here. So what we can do is we can definitely have that option. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back to the way it was, because that's honestly what I prefer, but you may prefer something different. The next one is enable on post. Well, this is the different types of pages that you could have on your site, and these are different areas that you could have these buttons be displayed on. Right now, only on posts will this be displayed, which is kind of handy because a lot of these share buttons will display on every single page you have, pages, posts, everything. So, but you have to ask yourself, what would a visitor want to share? Usually they want to share your recent posts, something that some new content that you've added to your site. So, but you do have the option to have these displayed on a page, an attachment, a testimonial, if you like. I'm not really sure what simple URL looks like. Thirsty link, that is a subject for a different video. TCB Lightbox, that's I think Thrive, and show on archive pages. So you know what, I think that bottom one's probably a good idea as well. So I'll go ahead and save those settings. And you may ask yourself, what's an archive page? Well, you do have the opportunity when setting up your WordPress site to create categories And you can also have multiple authors or content creators for your website. And when a content creator posts to your site, or you post to your site, you can actually click on their name and it will bring up an archive page where you'll see all of just that person's posts. Or you can click on the category that you've attached to that post and you will see only posts in that category. And so that's what an archive page is. Alright, so these are your different options for buttons with this plugin. So if you don't want Google+, you would uncheck this box, or if you don't want StumbleUpon, you'd uncheck that. It looks like these two in the middle do have an option, an additional option other than just having the button. What is that? Enter Twitter ID for via to be added to default tweet text. Well, what does that mean? That means when someone shares it, it will add your username to that tweet so that you are getting recognition, and you will also be notified within your Twitter account that someone has tweeted with your name in it. So it's like they are tweeting to you or at you with this. That's great. So you can put in your username down here. And what else? Pinterest. So if someone tries to share a page that does not have an image in it to Pinterest, and Pinterest is, it's pretty much for sharing images, you can put the URL of a default image from your library. And if you have questions on how to do that, I can show you right now. So the way that works is if you wanted to do that, you would go to Media, and let's say we want, I don't know, we'll just do the WordPress logo here. And then, so when I click on that WordPress logo, I have some options over here to the right, and file URL is one of them. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go back to where I was, just simple share. And when that loads in, I'm going to paste that into the box. There it is. That's done. I hit Save Settings. Now, you may not want to put the WordPress logo in your Pinterest one, but what I would recommend is, maybe if you have a logo or something like that, you would do the same process, but with your logo instead of the WordPress logo. And that way, when someone shares something to Pinterest, your logo will show up there, and you'll have at least that image to associate with it. And then Save Settings. All right, and that is the Simple Share plugin. Let's move on to import and export. What is that? Well, this is obviously not a lot of options here. What this is you can export all of your settings that you have for Genesis in your website, and you can import them here as well. So you have the option to, say, move your settings from one site to another if you operate multiple sites running Genesis, which can be helpful so you don't have to redo everything for a new site. That's all that is. What is Layout Extras? Let's check that out. So it looks like we have a bunch of different options for how primary content is displayed. So if I check off all of these, it will give these as additional options for displaying information on your site. So above layouts. So what we can do is, sure, why not? Just check off all these and see what happens, because we're just kind of exploring here, because that's I really want to kind of promote you not feeling like you're going to destroy your site or anything, just kind of jumping in and messing with the settings a little bit. Just, kind of do it a little bit at a time so that you can go back and forth and put it back the way you found it. Let's see here. So all public custom posts, sure. What else? Yeah, that works. Page default, yeah. Global layout for singular pages. So we have different options. So this is asking about, how do we want the post page layout to look like? We can have that page be full width while everything else is something else. So we have a couple of different options for how different types of pages are displayed. So if I hit Save Settings here, you'll notice that if I once that saves, if I go into, say, I don't know, a post here, and we'll just pick this one again. If I scroll down a little bit, I have some extra options for what this layout's going to look like. And some of these may work well, and some of them may not look great at all. So, for example, let's say this one is an experimental one, so it may not look very good. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what it looks like. Kind of experiment a little bit. So I will go to that page. We'll take a look at it, see what that does. And that's what that looks like. So it kind of cuts off our logo here and kind of messes with our menu. Looks like the footer is brought into here. Interesting. It's different. I don't know if that works for you, but kind of completely changes the theme around. So what other options do we have? We could do, this is, I believe, I don't know. We'll see what that one does. Go ahead and update. Back to the front of the page, and I'm going to refresh this page after that one saves and see what it looks like now. Okay, so it looks like we have our header still up there, and we have just kind of a full width page, and there it is. And all of our items that were in our sidebar are now underneath the page. This is kind of what it looks like on a cell phone, when you squeeze the page down. But if you want to take the sidebar out and yet not take the content out of the sidebar, it'll just move it all to the bottom of the page. So that's kind of a neat option. That may be a great option for a page or a post that you have planned. We'll do one more. Let's say this one. I think what this does is it takes everything in the sidebar and puts it above instead of below, based off of what this looks like. But let's see what that looks like. Go ahead and update and refresh. There we go. So now we have it's almost like a squeeze page here with our opt-in form here at the beginning, but if you scroll down a little bit, then you'll see the post. There it is. So I'm not really sure if I'm in love with that layout, but it may be perfect for some pages. So there's so many different options and different ways that you can tweak all the specific pages. I'm going to put it back to normal, which is this right here. I'll actually just hit default and hit update. There we go. So that's done, and if I refresh the page, it should be back to the way it was. Let's see here. there it is. It's back to the way it was. Very nice. So yeah, and that is Genesis layout extras. Definitely feel free to jump in. Those are the only real uses I've ever used layout extras for, but obviously if you go into the plugin, there are additional options that you can jump in there and do. And what I would recommend is if this kind of basic overview of this plugin isn't enough for you, and you're wanting to dive deeper into this specific plugin, I would definitely recommend jumping over to, let's say, Genesis layout extras. Oops. And then you can get a settings walkthrough right there. Look at that. That's awesome.
Hello, this is David Decker from Germany, DeckerWeb on Twitter.
Very cool.
And today I want...
So looks like David here would be happy to go in depth with that specific plugin, and there you go. So it may be a plugin you don't use, and if that's the case, then feel free to uninstall it. But it's one that is powerful, and it gives you more options. And here at Learn to Blog, we feel that giving more options is it's definitely a good thing. So that is your that's that plugin. So let's move on to the next one. Latest tweets. So obviously, if we're talking about tweets, we're talking about Twitter here. And what this does is allow you to display your latest tweets in your in a widget area somewhere. Now, I could definitely show you how this works, but it would be with my own personal Twitter account. And honestly, there is help setup right here at the bottom that will tell you step by step what to do. So what you'll do is you'll click on this, you'll log into your Twitter account, and you will create this information. It'll ask you for it, each of these things. So don't worry about the OAuth part. Just it's going to ask for a consumer key, consumer secret, and then access token, and access secret. And these will be long strings of numbers and letters, and you will just copy and paste them into each one of these areas and then hit Save Settings. And that is that. So if I were to post that on here, it's a bit of a security thing. So we're gonna not do that. But if you do have questions on how to set this up, let me know, or let Clark at learntoblog.com send me a message, and I'll definitely send you some more detailed instructions on how to set that up if this isn't enough for you. So the last one is simple edits. So simple edits, what is this? So it looks like we have entry meta above content, entry meta below content, footer credits text, and footer output. Alright, so let's start with the first thing. Entry meta above content. So it looks like it says post date, by, post author post link, and then post comments, and then post edit. So what are these things? Let's go to the front of our site and take a look. So here we go. This is post author, this is the post date, this is the comments, and this is the edit link. So the edit link will only show up if you are logged in. So if it is your site and you're logged in, these little edit links will show up. If you are a visitor to the site and you are not logged into the site, these edit links will not show up. So it's only for those who have the ability to edit. So don't worry about that. Why does this even matter? Well, you may not want this information displayed, or you may want it displayed in a different order. So you would copy and paste and move these items around, but make sure you get the brackets in there too. That's important. So that's the above. And what about the below? Well, let's look at it again. It says down here, post categories and post tags. Well, looks like we have filed under premium plugins, that's the post category, and tagged with form, opt-in form, poll, survey, threaded comments. So these are those areas. So if you wanted, like, say, 8 comments to show up down here, and you wanted your category to show up here, all you would have to do is move these tags around between these two areas, and they'll show up specifically in the order that you put them in. That's how that area works. So, and then this link underneath shows you what other tags you could put in there, what other options you have. And let's take a look at that. Oh, we have post date, modified date, time, modified time, author, author link, author posts link, comments, tags, categories, and edit. And once again, visible to admins. So only visible to them. And then footer credits and footer output. Well, let's look at the footer. So right now we have this information at the bottom. The copyright, the name of the theme, the framework by StudioPress, so those two. And we have WordPress and we have log out. So you can actually log out of your site right from the front if you wanted to. And that's what we have down here. So this is how that information is displayed, and this is that information here as well. So you can modify what that looks like. That is simple edits. So very, very, very cool stuff. Now let's talk about what other Genesis plugins that you could absolutely install on your site if you wanted to. We try to put a couple of good ones in there just to kind of get your idea of what they are. And here is a completely unrelated site to Learn to Blog, but they seem to have a list of all these plugins. There's a Genesis Design Palette Pro plugin. Looks like it's a good one. Custom Footer, Genesis Extender, Genesis Style Trump, and there's descriptions underneath of what all these do. Genesis Prose Extra, that's for a specific theme. Genesis Simple Menus, Genesis Widgetized Not Found, and 404. So that's if someone goes to a page that doesn't exist on your site, or at least they try to, you can customize those pages. I believe that's what that does. Genesis Simple Comments, Genesis Simple Sidebars, which is one that we were playing with earlier, and Genesis Simple Post Navigation. And there's a few more down here as well. I'm not going to go through all of them. But if you'd like to, feel free to go to this website up here and read those for yourself. Or just do a Google search for Genesis Framework plugins. And there's multiple sites that will do a list of those for you. So it's very, very good to do. And hopefully this has been very helpful as far as the Genesis plugins that are installed on the Ultimate Blog Design. I look forward to teaching you about the next plugin in the next video. Take care.